All right, good afternoon. Make sure I'm all set up here. Perfect. All right, good afternoon. So, what I just wanted to come on and talk about was a very important decision that just came down today in a federal case involving Luigi Mangione. And if we remember, Luigi Mangione is charged with murder in New York for shooting, and killing the UnitedHealthcare CEO. There's that video where he comes up from behind him, I believe calls his name, and shoots a couple times, kills him. Then Luigi went on the run for several days, was spotted in a McDonald's restaurant, and ultimately charged and arrested. Um, so what's been going on is since then, he's been held in New York, and he was indicted. On April 17th of 2025. We're going to go through that real quick with four counts, one of them including murder. Um, and The defense argued they filed a motion, what's called a motion to suppress, that items in his backpack can't be used against him, and they also argued that the indictment, meaning the charges in the indictment, could not lead to death penalty, meaning the maximum punishment that Luigi can have is life with parole or life without parole, and that in federal law, because of the way the prosecutors charged it, they have charged it in a way where you cannot, meaning the Supreme Court has said they cannot ask for the death penalty. So the defense asked and filed what's called a motion. In Georgia, we call that a demurrer, um, basically challenging the indictment by saying, look, even if everything they said is true, the law doesn't allow you to, um, in this case, give him the death penalty. And the judge has ruled today, January 30th, 2026. So, first, I want to show you what an indictment looks like. That way, we're all on the same page as to how it looks. Um, and once I figure out how to do that on this, um, I will show you. It doesn't look like I can do that, which is odd. So, mm, I guess I cannot. Well, that sucks. Um, okay, well, we will just go with uh, what I have to talk about. So, uh, what the court. So anyway, the prosecutor charged Luigi Mangione with count one, stalking. So traveling from a different state to New York for the purpose of killing this particular person at the vicinity of West 54th and 6th Avenue in Manhattan. They charged him with count two, use of interstate facilities. On December 4th, 2024, he used a cell phone, he used a hotel, he used the internet for the sole purpose of charging and killing this particular person. He used count three, they charged him with murder through the use of a firearm. And this is the important count. So this is count three, in that he carried a firearm, and then in the course of a murder, he possessed that firearm, which is the firearm that shot and killed this particular person. Um, and then in count four, they say that it was a firearms offense, in that he committed the offense of stalking from count two and used a firearm with a silencer. So it's a very interesting indictment. On its face, you would think, okay, well, the guy came from another state. He stalked this guy out. He followed him. He stayed in a hotel. He was watching him. then comes up from behind with a firearm, with a silencer on it, and shoots and kills him. Pretty easy set of facts, right? Most people would think, okay, well, not really too much going on here. But the defense challenged the indictment, and the defense filed a motion, and they said that basically counts three and counts four require a certain element of from counts one and two, meaning the counts three and four would require that the stalking crimes in counts one and two are crimes of violence, and because of that, um, if they're crimes of violence and then he stalked him for a violent purpose to kill him, therefore he then would be eligible for the death penalty. And the defense is saying, well, stalking by itself is not violent. Stalking by itself is not violent based on the case law. And there was tons and tons of letters of legal cases, which I won't bore you with. But today, after a hearing, after multiple letters to the judge, and in our case, our judge's name is Judge Margaret Garnett, Garnett, out of the United States District Court of New York, today finds that counts three and four are dismissed, and therefore the maximum punishment that Luigi can be faced with is life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. And the judge starts off this opinion basically saying, almost saying, well, although she can't really say it in writing, I don't want to do this. I don't want to dismiss these charges, but I have to because the United States Supreme Court is telling me I have to based on the rulings that it made. And because apparently with this law, with this case, if the crimes that other than the murder charge, which is a crime of violence, but I guess the reason why someone killed somebody, right? You can kill somebody and be charged with murder if you're in sort of a fight and maybe you're not the primary aggressor in the beginning and then you become the primary aggressor. That's different, right? Maybe you're having an argument with your wife, but you're not really violent or committing violent crimes, or it's not a violent act until it becomes murder, right? But when you start stalking someone for the purpose of killing them, and then you go and kill them, this judge, interestingly, doesn't follow the law. She follows the law, but doesn't follow through and say, well, that's murder, and that should be punishable by death. So, short story is the defense won. Counts three and four from the indictment are tossed. And therefore the prosecutor cannot go forward with killing or with basically killing him through the death penalty, and that they have to, if they convict him, he's punished by life without the possibility of parole. And I'm going to do another sort of zoom on this so that way we can share the screen and we can go through the order one word at a time. But big news out of this state of New York federal court that Luigi Mangione cannot be subject to the death penalty. The defense has won their motions. They have essentially saved his life, and the maximum punishment is life without the possibility of parole. Now, the government has not said whether or not they're going to appeal. I would anticipate they're going to appeal. But as of now, he sits with the maximum punishment of life without the possibility of parole.